Cup of coffee in the big time.
Yo, we're back. We're back, and I'm still shocked that we haven't gotten sued for that intro. Thankfully, nobody's come at us. TKO, they're not looking at us. It's like we're flying under the fucking radar. We're the Rebel Alliance of podcasts. We're going right past the Death Star. You know what? I'm not going to go down the whole Star Wars rabbit hole again. I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to bore you to tears with that. Okay? But what we're going to do is we're going to talk some graps. We're going to talk some pro wrestling, some sports entertainment. You know what I'm talking about. We're going to talk some of that. This is a hoser-free edition. You like that? You like that, Tyler? Threw that one in there. Hoser-free edition of Working the Marks. And we certainly got a lot to talk about. Mach, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. How you doing today? I see that we're all excited here with just the three of us, just the actual guys that know shit about professional wrestling, while the other two sat out. You know, we're the three people that don't need to Google our shit. We get to actually watch the show and enjoy the show. So it was pretty fun. So the three actual knowledgeable wrestling fans are here instead of the Wikipedia boys.
Wow,
it's really nice. Yeah.
Wow.
Are we like a thruple? Would we be the thruple of wrestling? And like,
Absolutely.
Like, is that what we are? We're a thruple.
Yeah, man.
One of my roommates was.
You think about it. We're the Puerto Ricans and Tyler's the Canadian. It's almost like we're double stuffed. We're double stuffed.
But here's my question: do two Puerto Ricans make an American? You know what I'm saying? Like, can we have a Can-Am connection here, or like, is it just a Canadian-Rican connection? Like, I'm trying to figure out the geography of it all. You know?
I don't know, man. That's a great question. I don't know. Let's go with brains up there. What do you think? You tell us, Krang.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they consider that. How was it back in the day where like some people were like 2/3 of a person or something? So I guess between the two of you. I guess you probably make one.
Okay. Shit, look at us. We're in America. What's up with Canadian currency? Do they? Because I went to Canada once upon a time. It was 1998, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. That's where I was at, and it was a blast. Very clean, beautiful city. And I remember the currency. I think we're called loonies. Was it loonies and
we got loonies? We got toonies. Well, $1 coin is a loony, a $2 coin is a toonie, and now the money's made of like rubberish plastic.
Ooh.
With like, I don't know, it does look like play money.
Well, I think we're definitely going to talk about rubberish plastics things here, especially once we get to talking about Vince McMahon. But more on that later as that progresses along. But guys,
did something happen with him this week?
Yeah, I wonder what happened.
I mean, fuck it. We might as well just open up the can of worms while we're at it.
Is there news?
I obviously, if you're watching this program, number one, you're a wrestling fan. Number two, you're pretty sad. But the fact that you're with us here tonight, you obviously know what happened with Vince McMahon. It's something that we definitely have to talk about. Okay, Janelle Grant, I believe her name was an assistant to Vince McMahon. And she's now suing WWE, Vince McMahon, for sexual assault. And I also believe trafficking, human trafficking. Human trafficking. Wow. So, I mean, pretty crazy situation. There was also John Laurinaitis implicated in this scenario. Brock Lesnar, potentially. I'm not going to really say too much about that because I don't know all the details on that. And, I don't want Brock Lesnar to beat me up or something. But definitely John Laurinaitis named in there. And also talk of toys, sexual toys, dildos, if you will, that were named after WWE wrestlers that were on the roster as well.
Wow.
You can only imagine.
I missed that one.
Yeah. You can only imagine what stuff was being, put out there online on X, on social media of all kind. I mean, some pretty ridiculous memes and stuff like that. But very, very crazy scenario. I mean, we all kind of knew that something was going on, right? We all kind of knew that things have happened, right? NDAs, all this other stuff. You know, your mind tends to go a little wild. Stories and books, shoot interviews, all this kind of stuff. But now to have this kind of information put out there, and from what I'm understanding, this is just like the tip of the iceberg. It's pretty fucking wild to hear, guys. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on like what you guys thought when you heard about this.
I mean, to be honest with you, I thought it was just another story, like just to get at Vince McMahon, another way to berate him. And then the more I dug into it, the more I read, it felt like this was completely new. This was one of those things where it was like, holy shit, like this is not like fake news or anything. This actually happened. And I felt just shock and awe. I was like, wow, this is like not at all what I expected. And immediately I thought to myself, this is not as simple as the guy who won the 04 Rumble, like erasing him from wrestling. This is erasing Vince from wrestling would erase essentially the entire Attitude Era. You know, how it's almost like if you have that in the past, you know, we're just not going to talk about it anymore. But there are so many things that came to mind to me, like, why did Stephanie leave the biz? Why did Shane leave the biz? Why are all of these records being set? I just got flooded with all of these different things. And I'm still processing what's going on, but it just feels like a lot of it's starting to make sense. That's kind of how I felt about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can be accused of. I think human trafficking is about as bad as it can get. So for a second there, I was really like, what is going on? And when I heard the story, it made a little bit more sense as to what the charges were, or what the accusations were. We've not known, but we've heard for a long time that Vince has had some interesting appetites and had some, done some things that obviously we can't condone. And this is just another chapter in the story, I guess. I always hoped that it, stuff wasn't true, but this seems pretty credible.
Yeah.
It's crazy, unfortunate that it did happen. For me personally, I'm not surprised. I think anybody who's been involved in the wrestling business in any type of way is honestly not surprised by this. I've talked to people that I know personally that are either still in the business or have been in the business, and they all told me the same thing. Yeah, not surprised. It's unfortunate, I think, that the reputation of a wrestling promoter has gotten to be this sleazy, this messed up now, where it's not really that big of a deal. I think maybe we okayed it for so long, like people in wrestling, because it was a part of the norm. And I mean, it's very difficult to take something out of the business that has been there for a long time. That's all I'm saying. It really, really is. It really is. And I think the more you unearth from what Vince has done, the more you're going to find a lot of people that you don't want to see on there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I think that's the risk that you run with these types of things. It's no secret, you can go back on the archives here. I'm a big Vince McMahon fan. I think Vince McMahon's contributions to professional wrestling are huge. I admire parts of him as a person, and I say and specify parts of him as a person, not the entirety of who Vince McMahon is, not what he's being accused of. I think that's wrong on any account. Anybody who does those types of things obviously will go through a trial, and whatever the punishment is, they have to face those consequences. It's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There's no room in our society for that type of behavior anymore. There isn't. Plain and fucking simple. And if you don't like it, stop watching the fucking podcast right now. But that's the truth.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad to me, and I think Lou, I think you bring up a really good point there about, are we gonna have to Chris Benoit him? I guess is
Yeah.
really the best way to fucking say it. But are we gonna have to Chris Benoit Vince McMahon? Like, are we gonna find out so much about this guy that we're literally gonna have to not acknowledge his existence? I mean, how do you commemorate Steve Austin now? How do you celebrate Steve
Yeah.
Austin? How do you do anything for Stone Cold without Vince McMahon?
I
You
was
know,
thinking the same thing.
what are you gonna do? You're gonna mute his commentary? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot to really think about here. But I just think that at the end of the day, what's what they've done, what specifically what Nick Khan has done, and I think even maybe, and I don't know, you guys let me know what you think about this here, but I think Vince specifically had the awareness that something like this might have happened, that something like this would come to light sooner or later. And because of that, he felt the need to basically gear them towards a sale so that he could remove himself from the situation and the company and what it means to his family and what it means to the people that are invested in the talent and the fans continues without him.
Mm.
What do you guys think?
No, I think that's a great point. It makes sense to me because Vince has always kind of been ahead of the curve. Definitely makes sense to me in terms of I got to get out. I'm gonna get caught. You know what I mean? And it definitely makes a lot of sense. It's odd that just a couple of weeks ago, Cat Williams was on a podcast and he said the year of 2024 is when a lot of truths will be revealed, and we are here in 2024, and immediately one of the billionaires of the world, his truths are being revealed. And it's unfortunate.
Right, because I want to touch on something Pat said. He's talking about, like you said, you admire some parts of him as a person, like the fact that they've helped so many people with rehab, and I know he has given people money to buy their houses and just pay me back whenever. And I think this is something I've thought for a long time. People aren't just good or bad. They're three-dimensional things, and obviously something like this can't be erased by any amount of good deeds. But I understand what you're saying there.
Yeah, and I think it's great you actually shine some light on that as well. I mean, these are little known things about Vince, and I think that Vince, for a big chunk of maybe what he did as a wrestling promoter and as the owner of the WWF/E, I think he did a lot of good for a lot of different people, and not enough people talk about it. And I think Vince didn't want it to be talked about. I think Vince wanted the emphasis and the focus to be on the product, or maybe he might have had the awareness to say, hey, you know what, I'm not the nicest guy in the world. I don't want to be, I don't want people to think I'm doing this because I'm trying to get some dirt off my conscience. Maybe he might have thought about it that way. Who knows? But I agree. I mean, I look at it almost like, everybody has like one relative who might not be the nicest guy or something, like an uncle who might be racist or something. And you're like, geez, you're an asshole, with your racist nonsense. But you know what? You're my uncle, and there's parts of you that are actually really good when you're not, spitting out this nonsense. And you think about the good, and that's what you remember. You don't remember the racist nonsense. You don't remember the ignorance that your uncle might have had towards that, but you remember the little bit of good, and you try and learn from that. You know what I'm saying? And I think with Vince, definitely had a lot of issues. I mean, it seems like there's a lot of like power control stuff. Like it seems very like control driven. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not a fucking therapist, so I'm not going to continue to hypothesize any further, but there's things about Vince that, you can't admire, things like that, his upbringing, him looking for his father when he was a kid, getting into the wrestling business, just learning how to do it on the fly, making enough money to the point where like Vince grew up in a trailer park with his mom and his stepdad, where his stepdad would beat the shit out of him all the time. Okay. And Vince weathered that. Vince got to meet his father, got to learn about the business, got to the point where he could buy the business, took it from being a regional product to a global product that spans fucking generations. Insane. Insane. Absolutely insane. But again, he's flawed. He's a human being. How do you guys think they're going to handle his legacy moving forward? And again, I mean, we don't really know the full scope of everything, but given what we do know, how do you think the company is going to handle Vince McMahon moving forward?
Erase him, I guess.
I think they'll try their best to erase him. I think it's impossible, as much as involvement as he has in some of the most famous moments. Like, you look at all the way back to WrestleMania 1 or Hogan Andre, like he's on commentary, the Attitude Era, it's him and Austin every week. Yeah. Everything. Like, you know, it's going to be, it's damn near impossible. Well, unless they're going to go back and dub over all that stuff, which I can't.
Well, here's the problem. The two biggest stars, think about it this way. The two biggest stars in WWE history in terms of money are The Rock and Austin, right? Both of their careers are completely like ingrained with Vince McMahon. Rocky's first title run, he's celebrating in the ring with Shane and Vince. Like his first title win. Like Austin's whole, like the whole Mike Tyson thing, the whole like stunning Vince and all of that. Like the Royal Rumble. They're all Vince McMahon related. The It's Me, the corporate ministry, all of that stuff is there. There are moments with CM Punk where he's in the ring, where Punk slaps him. There's the moment with Randy Orton. There's the moments with Kevin Owens.
Durag Vince.
He's in everything.
Oh, God.
Durag Vince, you know, I mean.
Yeah, Durag Vince. Like, there's seriously moments with anything. And to be honest, like, there were times where people felt like the sale of WCW, that promo, like there are so many things that it's gonna be tough to erase him without erasing the entire past of the company. Like there's just no way. They can only move forward.
But isn't that essentially what they're trying to do these days anyway? Rewrite history?
Yes. To some extent.
And I wonder if that's why they're doing it.
I wonder. Maybe. Yeah. Are you specifically mentioning that, Tyler, because of that comment at the Royal Rumble from Michael Cole about there never being two Royal Rumble winners at the same time? Because that was one that's been making the rounds that really people kind of got people up on it in arms, so to speak. You know, it was like, wow. Like,
oh yeah. I did hear that. I remember saying, what is he talking about?
Yeah. I just found it very odd too. You know, it's like, no, buddy. But yeah, I mean, they do try to rewrite history sometimes. I think they're guilty of that. They're their own separate universe. They're their own thing, you know. And they choose to acknowledge what they want, when they want, and how they want.
Right. I think they think we don't remember, but obviously they never listened to Lou and I in an airport naming every single WrestleMania main event at 2:00 in the morning.
Well, the one thing that I know, Tyler, you don't like when I bring up because this bothers you a lot, but Nikki Bella's like being on Renee Paquette's show, man. She spilled the tea. She told the truth, and I believe that's why they erased the Bellas, because you're not supposed to do that.
Right. See, that's the truth.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. What did she say in that? What did I?
She said wrestling fans think that they make things happen, but it's really the Vince McMahon leading you to think that way. They sway you to like a certain wrestler. It's never anything. And she made it clear. She's like, whenever somebody does something or somebody gets over on their own, that's heat right there. Like the company.
Right. I mean, we've seen that.
Yeah, like she talks about her winning Diva of the Year and going to the back, and they were pissed off at her for winning that award because they had a specific plan in place for a specific superstar that was supposed to win that award. And she just like the thing she said, I guess it was like telling trade secrets to us, the wrestling fans. And ever since then, I mean, they have tried their best. They've said it, like they don't call us back. They don't want us to have anything. They won't mention the Bellas at all. Everybody blamed it on John Cena. Oh, John Cena wanted her gone, but I really think that's why it happened, because she said stuff she wasn't supposed to say.
I mean, I'm sure that didn't help. That's for me. That's like that meme where it's like when the person you can't stand makes a great point or something like that.
Yes,
but yeah, she's absolutely right. Like about getting over on your own. Like look at and them punishing you. Like look at the example of Bart Gunn when he won the Brawl for All, or Zack Ryder when he made his YouTube show and got red hot on his own, and they gave him a little U.S. title run only to let him get chokeslammed off the stage in a wheelchair while John Cena makes out with his girlfriend.
Dude, Bryan Danielson too. That whole lead up to them finally putting him over for WrestleMania 30, like everything. So many different ways where we've kind of seen that, but I mean, that exists everywhere. That exists everywhere, man. That exists in every fucking locker room. And the thing is that WWE is under a bigger microscope and more people might expect more from them. But at the end of the day, man, it's a wrestling show. It's a wrestling company, and they all kind of pretty much run the same. The promoter plays the favorite. They have the guys that they want to push, and then you have the guys that get over organically. And I can see there being heat because it's like, hey, you're fucking up our system, and that is true. They do lead you to believe whatever they want you to believe, which is why I just love it when I go online and I see people talking about bad booking and that's not what you do and this is so stupid and why would they do this? And it's like, because they fucking want you to have this reaction, because they want you to care. And this is what they do, and this is where they really shine, and they're really the best. I mean, like, they get people so worked up, but they get people talking about them all the time. Getting back to the Bellas real quick, I know that they put out a statement, I think, on social media in regards to the Vince and John Laurinaitis stuff as well. Let me see if I can pull it up. On social media in regards to the Vince and John. Uh-oh, what's going on here? The audio is kind of messed up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it said VV is in stream audio only, and now it's repeating what you just said.
Can you hear me? Gee willikers.
Who the fuck was that?
Can you hear me?
What did you say? Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you good.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, now what about
it's gone now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
You sound great.
Okay, so it was just a blip. But yeah, getting back to the Bellas, I know that I think they put out a joint statement, or one of the Bellas. I gotta try and find it real quick. Let me see if I can look.
They're disheartening. So I have the statement right here.
Fantastic.
We're shocked and disheartened with the recent allegations against the members of the WWE. The Garcia twins said Monday on Instagram. It's been a lot to process since we found out this past week, just like you all did. This is something we don't stand for or condone from anyone, no matter who they are. The sisters, who are also stepdaughters of Laurinaitis, added, we want all women to feel safe and supportive in the workplace in their everyday lives. That's interesting because Johnny Laurinaitis is married to their mom.
That is interesting only because you would think they would have had some inkling of, like, what kind of person, like Johnny Ace was before he married
probably
their mom.
Wasn't that person
like
when he was with them.
Well, what if Danielson knew? You think he would have told the disciplinary committee? I mean, like, what if Danielson
throw
knew?
a fine out there?
Yeah, he'd throw a fine out there or something like that. Like, he must. I don't know. It's tough with Danielson because you want to think that if he knew, he might have said something, and maybe he did, and maybe they're just covering up, and they all knew all along. But I mean, that's got to be a tough spot to be in for him. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's like,
Pat,
you know?
it's really funny if we could like segue over to what you said yesterday to me on the phone.
Mhm.
It's a part of this conversation where you and I actually were two people, and we're in the minority that we thought Triple H handled the press conference well. A lot of people are angry with the way he handled it, and I loved what you said about him not wanting to go back to that, because like if you could just elaborate on that. Do you remember what you said?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I think with Triple H, well, what he specifically said was he doesn't want to dwell on like anything negative. He wants to focus on like what's going on that night. So obviously, a lot of people expected, and when I say a lot of people, I would say wrestling fans specifically. Allow me to be more specific here, but wrestling fans, particularly the ones that are on social media, wanted him to give a better explanation. Whatever that better might be, I don't know. It's up to the person, I guess, right? I think it's a situation where no explanation will suffice. You know, I'm glad that he wasn't wearing a furry hat and sunglasses when he said it. I think that was a good move. But I think that he handled it the best way possible, and I think that maybe people don't consider the fact that maybe he's known for a long time. But I mean, what can he fucking do? What can he do? What can he do about any of this? The scope of it, I don't know if he knew, but I'm sure he knew that Vince was up to something. And
Right.
you know, he's married to Steph. I mean, again, we don't know. We don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure that he wants to move on. He doesn't want to talk about it. What's gonna happen is gonna happen. People are gonna say what they're gonna say. More importantly, TK already put out a statement. So that's all you really need to know. What else do you really
Right.
want from the guy? You know. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, real quick. But do you think that there's a portion of fans that are specifically AEW fans that expect more from Triple H because people kind of gave Tony Khan shit about his answer on the Jericho situation?
Right. Well,
Yes.
to me, yeah, maybe because how are you gonna other than the stupid hat and glasses? Well, I don't really see much difference in their response. I would have just. I think he probably should have just said, I'll just refer you to the statement that was put out yesterday. That's all we really had to say at this time. Because like what he said amounted to me, and Lou hates when I say it. I wish wrestling could just be wrestling, and that's kind of what he said. Like I just want to focus on the positive. Like let's forget about that. And I mean, I actually thought Cody handled it better than he did.
Really?
Yeah, because like first of all, that's not a question for him, and Nick Hausman's just a shit disturbing.
He certainly
piece of
knows how to grab
trash.
headlines. He knows how to grab headlines. You gotta somewhat give him credit for that. I mean, you know, I can't really say too much about him personally, but the guy does grab headlines and he knows how to get attention. The thing that I don't like about some of these guys though is that they'll go there with the intent to stir shit. And then when they don't stir shit, they want to victimize themselves. And it's like, you know, when they get called out for it, they don't really like it very much. And I just think that it's like, if you're going to go out there and you're going to do something like that, if that's your intention, you got to be willing to deal with the fucking blowback, you know? You got to be able to handle it. But Cody gave a good answer. I thought they both gave a good answer for what they could say. Again, it's an ongoing thing. So, I mean, you don't want to, I think that we're both in a position where we're like, we don't want to give like something that would be perceived as like a final kind of say on this or a final comment on this while it's ongoing. So we're just not going to talk about it. That's it.
Right.
You know, I think that's basically what it was.
Yeah, to me, just say, you guys know I can't talk about that. Like, it's an ongoing situation.
That's fair. I mean, again, I just think we also have to kind of consider his situation, you know? Like, do you want to sit there and say something about your fucking father-in-law? And even though, you know, he's a sack of shit, he's still your father-in-law. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. And they have had a close relationship in the past. So, you know.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. He was groomed. He was groomed to take over the business. Like, you could tell that's what he's been groomed for. So,
yeah.
I mean, it sucks, but
It's a fucked up scenario, man. No matter what, all around for the victims, for everybody.
No executive in the world is going to answer that question this early in the going. Like, I don't know what people really expected. Like the people that were so butthurt on Twitter the other night, I don't know what you expected.
But it's the more tribal fans. Which is usually where the most toxic discourse for fucking wrestling comes from. You know,
right?
It's these toxic fucking tribal fans. You know,
yeah.
Again, I I think we're all old enough to remember the Monday Night Wars, ECW, all that stuff. We enjoyed all that stuff. There was stuff we didn't like. There was some stuff I didn't like. I didn't like Goldberg. I thought Stone Cold was cooler, But like, I still watch WCW. I still watch fucking WWF. I still watch DCW, and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, man. Like, if you don't like something, don't watch it. That's it. It's that simple, man.
Yeah, but you can watch for other reasons. Like I love WCW, you know that. I mean, but I hated Hogan. I thought he was awful. I thought he was a terrible in-ring performer. I thought Brutus the Barber Beefcake was a better in-ring performer than him. I thought there were more talented people. Like sometimes I thought to myself, I would watch Virgil and I'd be like, wow, this guy's better than Hulk Hogan. Like there were just certain things I didn't like about him, you know what I mean? But I still watched the product because like Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and Six, all of these amazing members in his group. And then there was this fucking old guy with this, like, for some reason, this horseshoe haircut. And people thought he was like the coolest thing ever. I don't know. You can still watch.
Can we just jump to this delusional comment for a second here? So from the Dungeon podcast, in the Dungeon with Stu Hart podcast, whatever it's called. I mean, he's saying here, now what are people going to cancel the Undertaker? The Undertaker cancel Shawn Michaels because they're close friends with Vince, like they're trying to cancel Brock Lesnar. I don't think they're. First of all, if you look at any of the stuff that's come out, they're not mentioning Shawn Michaels or the Undertaker. Brock Lesnar was implied or mentioned in it. I haven't really read all of it, but I've kind of skimmed through the stuff that I've seen. So
he received videos and he made requests in videos for return videos. Yeah, he made that. That's what they're accusing him of.
Yeah. He sent basically, from what I understand, they sent him a video. He liked it. He responded something, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? And they tried to like maybe create a hookup, and that was that. That's all it really fucking was. Okay,
that's where the trafficking part comes. Was the fact that she was supposedly sent to go.
Right. Because that's what Vince was doing. Vince was pimping her out basically.
More or less, yeah.
So this is.
I mean, it would be another shocking thing if Hulk Hogan was involved somewhere here. It would just be like another way to call this guy a piece of shit.
I'm not saying they're not a part of it. I'm just saying they're really good friends with Vince. Nobody's saying Vince McMahon and friends, okay?
Yeah, nobody's it's just Vince McMahon. What the hell? It's just Vince. Yeah. It's just Vinny Mac.
It's not Epstein Island yet.
Yeah. She's like, it's Vince and all his friends. Come on, get the fuck out of here. Could it happen though? We don't know, but I hope not.
Oh God, please no.
I hope not, man. Here's an interesting question for you guys. What name do you hope is never associated with anything like this?
Bryan Danielson.
Shawn Michaels.
I agree with both. I agree with both.
I really hope we never I just I don't think Bryan will be mentioned.
I don't think so.
I hope not. I hope Roddy Piper's not mentioned. Guys like that. Flair. I mean, Flair, whatever. The helicopter.
Oh, he was a part of it. It's fucking whatever.
Brett. No, see, Brett. I don't think Brett was involved in anything like that.
Nah. A lot of this happened when he was dealing with his stroke. So no.
Yeah. Well, it's
all Brett did was sleep around on the road. He didn't do anything like that.
And he smoked weed. He smoked weed too, Brett.
He took steroids too.
Yeah. Well, they all did.
Yeah,
did a little
Yeah. Oh yeah, smoke some crack too with Dynamite Kid and Junkyard Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
Yeah.
true
Oh, he
story.
did hash too. He did hash with that, what was it? It was like a hash soaked pear or something.
I
I think it
hear
was
he
with
still
hacksaw.
smokes weed. I hear he still smokes weed, bro.
I bet you he
Well,
does, man.
it's legal in Canada, so
Yeah, man. He's probably chilling, man. Getting some fine ass fucking bud up in Calgary and shit. You know, fucking
yeah.
Alberta.
he got a
I don't
pink and
know.
black bowl and he's just taking like rips, yo, you know.
It's got the Hitman logo on it. Yeah.
Yeah, they all got like little jackets. All the pipes got little jackets, you know, that he takes off. You know,
Well, sunglasses.
he's got sunglasses he wears and he takes them off and puts them on like, you know, a little kid or something.
Hell yeah. I
Like
can see it.
walks to his bowl, takes the sunglasses off, puts it on his dog.
Let me tell you something.
Walks
I
by
could not
homeless
imagine
people
that.
and puts it just takes the pipe out of his mouth and puts it right in their fucking mouth. It's just
Yeah,
like, here you go, bud.
that would bug me out. That would bug me out. I who did I hear that had smoked weed with him? Kurt Stallion. Kurt Stallion. He was a developmental wrestler, indie guy. He used to team with Matt Riddle when Matt Riddle was on the Indies, and he was talking about how he was hanging out like backstage, and I guess like he was doing I think he was doing like either loops for house shows with them or something, or it might have been like a Mania weekend, like a big show weekend, and MVP was like, "Yo, man, you're gonna do my bidding for me. You're gonna be my young boy," like he told him. So
Yeah.
MVP would have him go get him drinks and shit like that. And then like dude went and got drinks, and he was just like, "Yo," he's like, "What the fuck, bro? You didn't get me drinks?" And he's just like, "Oh no, no, no." And somebody else, oh, Carlito was with him, and Carlito's like, "Hey, man, you gonna get me drinks too?" So he's like, "No, no, no, whatever." So he knew some dude who was a vendor that used to work with Bret Hart, and he hit him up, and he does like a lot of big shows on the independents throughout the United States. And they ended up going to a hotel room, and he's like, "Yeah, you know, I'm up with Bret in the room, we're hanging out." He's like, "Oh, okay." They go up there, so they start smoking weed, and fucking MVP, Carlito, Kurt Stallion, Bret Hart are all getting fucking stoned together. And he said that Bret was like cool when he got stoned, that he took like some hits off the pipe and shit, but that like he started talking about Goldberg like eventually. And it was just like really, really, yeah, it was like really, really fucked up. So we're gonna post that link on our Instagram when I find that for this video, so that you guys can see it. But that's as close to a retelling as I can remember of hearing about it. But yeah, pretty.
I thought you were about to go crazy with this story and tell us like what Method Man said about Kanye West in the bathroom. I was like, yo, you're not about to tell me no story like that, are you?
Nah,
that's crazy.
Nah, Bret, but yeah, I wouldn't think Bret would be involved in it. I mean, I just think, to be honest, any old wrestler, any like great legendary wrestler involved in that type of behavior, that would just be really, really, really disappointing. And I really hope that, you know, nothing like that happens. But you know, it sucks, man. And I feel for any victims that have gone through any of this shit. It's fucking sad, man, and it's really, really unfortunate. And you know, hopefully all of the wrestling business, not just WWE, not just AEW, not just TNA, not just the major companies, hopefully the entirety of the business across the world take note of this stuff and, you know, implement the change in order for everybody to be able to perform and feel safe in that locker room, which I think should be the very fucking bare minimum, at least. You know what I mean?
Right.
But moving on, guys, Royal Rumble, lots of interesting takes out there. Some surprises, right? Maybe not as many surprises as many people wanted. You know, both Rumble matches I thought were pretty solid. You know, I thought they were decent for the most part. Both title matches I thought were okay, kind of predictable. Overall feel of the show was certain parts were kind of up, maybe certain parts were a little down. You know, it kind of like peaked and valleys. You know, peaks and valleys kind of deal there. But you know, we'll start off, I guess, with the first match, and I'd really love to get some of your guys' thoughts on it. The Women's Royal Rumble. What did you guys like about this? What were some of the highlights for you, and how did you feel about the finish?
Tyler, you want to go first?
Sure. I definitely think they had the right winner. And to have her come in and do kind of an Iron Woman shift at 3 was cool. Naomi coming back, obviously Jade debuting, and Liv coming back is all really cool. The one thing I will say is I think it was pretty obvious at the end who was gonna win, because like the only 2 other people that I even heard anyone mention were Becky and Nia, and they both went out towards the end, but like I don't think either one were in the final 5.
Mhm.
So I think
Yeah.
that makes it a little obvious at times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this match. I thought this was the match of the night for me. I really did. I thought I really enjoyed the Jade stuff. I thought she was presented as a mega star. Like she was presented the best. I felt like she was, for the fact that she was number 28 and she was there till almost the end. I felt like she was the MVP of the Royal Rumble. Just the way they made her look, the way Nia Jax sold for her. I just saw it today. I rewatched the clip today, and I didn't realize how strong Jade was when she had Nia up for the Samoan drop. She was smiling at the camera. Go back and watch it. She's smiling, and she does one of these. Nia is on her, and in her other arm, she's like smiling, almost like this is nothing for me. And I was like, my God, this woman is just going to be exceptional. I've always felt like she was a WWE superstar in the wrong company, so I'm excited for that. Another person that stood out for me was Jordan Grace. I mean, wow, what a wrestler! I think she's one of those people that when her contract is up, Triple H is going to be like, "Hey, come over here." She looked amazing.
Do you think she looked like a natural? Do you really feel? Because for me personally, I felt like she looked like she felt like she belonged there. Like she had like no doubt in her mind. She went in there. She was so good with her stuff. She stuck out. Obviously, she sticks out. She does have a very unique look. But man, I just thought like she seemed like she belonged in the WWE. She really genuinely felt that way. And getting back to Jade for a sec, I loved all the moments in there with her. Her and Bianca, the slam on Nia. The crowd was just so connected with everything that she did. And I'm really excited for what they do with her moving forward, where she ends up. I mean, right off the bat, you could do her and Nia, at some point. Shit, you could even do it at Mania, because obviously, it's looking like it's going to be Nia and Rhea at Elimination Chamber, but
Predicted
all in
here
all,
on Working the Marks.
yeah, well, they kind of kicked off the program last night on Raw, but it just I thought it was good. I thought it was a little botchy at times. There was a couple of moments there where things got a little wonky. But I
You're
thought
gonna
that the
get
talent,
that though with people like Maxine Dupree, Ivy Nile,
right,
Liv Morgan. These are people that aren't very good in the ring.
Well,
So
Liv, allow me to defend Liv. I think that Liv has improved tremendously. I think the thing with Liv, for me personally, is that I feel like we've seen it all with her so far. And I feel like she needs a different layer. She needs like something else to kind of take her in a different direction. I think that she's talented. She's obviously beautiful. She's a very good performer in the ring. She has a connection with the audience. You want to capitalize on that, but sometimes, growth, change, periods of, this kind of happens, so I'm curious to see what goes on with her in the next couple of years. This could potentially be like, Becky's like steampunk era before it kind of led to the man. Not to say that that's going to happen for her, but it could possibly be something like that. I feel like
that would be
she's
really good for her. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and again, no knock on Liv. I think Liv is talented for what she does. I think she's good at going in there, hitting her spots, hitting her big things.
Worst finisher in the business, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of finishers, I think, in the women's division that could maybe perhaps use a little fine tuning, but again, I don't know what's going on. I'm not backstage. I'm also not working with these talents every day and seeing what they can or can't do. So, it's a little difficult to say on what I could coach anybody in. You know what I mean? But again, opinions absolutely here on this show. I thought it was match of the night. I thought the right person won. At no point in time did I ever really feel like Bailey was going to fully lose. I think they did a good job at certain times of doing that. All in all, I think it was a solid match. The right person went over. The finish was pretty good, but yeah, I would call it match of the night if I had to.
Yeah, I agree.
Moving along, we got Roman Reigns defending the WWE Universal Undisputed Heavyweight Linear fucking Nuclear Championship against AJ Styles, the phenomenal AJ Styles, the Apex Predator, Randy Orton, and LA Knight. All in all, I thought this was a decent match. I thought it was good. The thing is like, for me personally, and again, I respect the entirety of this man's greatness and what he's been accomplishing. I think Roman Reigns is in a period that people are going to study him. And again, I think there's a lot of things still that we do not know about what's going on with him that perhaps could come to light later on. But you know, I just think that what he's doing is excellent. But going into a match where you know for a fact he's going to win, it kind of takes the air out of the room a little bit. Yeah. And I know that they book it and they present it in a way that looks like, you know, somebody else is going to win, but at the end of the day, you know that the plan is to still go with Roman. Now,
agreed.
All in all, I thought the match was good, but there's always that feeling when you're watching the match with Roman where you're like, it's going to be a good match, but it's not going to be exciting. It's not going to give me that thing yet. You know what I mean? I love the finish. I thought the finish was great.
Agreed.
I thought
he needed that. He needed that finish.
You know, Solo interfering, doing that, coming in, hitting the spike, that was fine. I thought that was good stuff. Missing the spear, I thought that was great. I just love the finish, not only because I guess it's as close to clean as you're going to get for Roman, but the whole setup of it, AJ going for the forearm, Knight hitting the ropes, AJ falling down, you know, Roman hitting the Superman punch on Knight, AJ getting back up, spear, Roman hits the ropes, hits the spear, bam. Like, just really, really clean, nice, well-performed finish. AJ, what can you say about AJ Styles, bro? Really? Like, the dude is amazing. 46 years old, I think, and he's still putting in these kind of matches and this effort.
Well, I think we talked about it. He's the one guy who's kind of got that Shawn Michaels quality in the sense that he's the only one of these guys that could have taken the pin, because he can lose every match for the next year and then randomly win the WWE Championship, and none of us would be shocked. We'd be like, yeah, well, it's AJ Styles. Yeah, that makes sense.
Randy too. Randy could take a pin too. You know, Randy could do all that stuff. I think the goal of this match is to set up, you know, maybe feuds later on. We'll see. We'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
More on that later. But you know, I think for the match, you know, it was good for what it was. But there's just always that feeling, man, where I'm just like, I'm not fucking buying it. I'm not buying it. It's not creating enough doubt for me. And I'm kind of not into it because of it. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but but give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I felt the same way. To me, and I think there were points where the crowd maybe convinced themselves that maybe he could lose, because, and he's laughing at me over there, but like, because we've had this conversation, when Roman finally won, I felt like the air went out of the building a little bit, because it was like, oh man, again, same old shit. It felt to me exactly like the dog days of John Cena's Reign of Terror. Like, this shit again, same thing.
Now here's the thing, Tyler, and again, this is, you know, I don't know, maybe, you know, I kind of feel this way a bit, but Do you think that maybe if they were more creative with how he went over instead of it kind of being the same old thing again? And do you think if maybe they did a better job of kind of creating that doubt, do you think that maybe you'd be more into the match?
Yeah, maybe. The only thing is, the thing with Roman is he kind of has to look strong. Otherwise, because like, do you remember? Yeah, I saw it. Do you remember when Kurt Angle was champion and he would just like by a thumbnail hang on to the title his first reign?
Right.
Like that, like the Hell in a Cell where everyone just beat the ever loving piss out of each other, and then like Kurt comes and puts a finger on whoever it was and got the pin.
Mhm.
Or I said last week the finish from Backlash in 07 where it was like everyone hit their finish. Shawn hits the super kick, but he can't capitalize, and Cena fell on top of I think it was Edge
Yeah.
for the pin. Something like that, just to be like, you know?
Yeah. I get exactly what you're saying. I think that maybe if they kind of did that a little bit more and kind of just, I don't know, like made it where Roman kind of hung on, because yes, and don't get me wrong, it's not like they're not kind of saying that Roman is barely hanging on, right, to the title with what they're doing,
Mm,
with the run-ins, with everything else. But again, I feel like it's maybe a little too redundant. Like we've done it too
mm,
much, we've been there too much with the run-ins. Okay, we're trying to be a little more creative with the run-ins, that's fine. But like you kind of want Roman to get like wins on his own, but do it in a very hyper competitive way, a la Kurt Angle, where it comes down to like a last minute pin or like leverage or something like that, where he just like he narrowly escapes with his title, but fuck, he still got his title. I'd also
mm.
like to see more clean wins from him. I'd like to, I'd like to see him, kind of cheat more against bigger guys instead of cheating against all the guys. You know what I'm saying? Because every time he cheats in a match, don't get me wrong, it accomplishes its goal. It's good. And I this is not a knock on Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns is fucking fantastic, but there's certain redundant tropes with the storytelling that we're seeing here that I think maybe we could kind of do little things to tweak and to make better. You know what I'm saying? By having little situations like that where Roman gets by other than with the same type of cheating. Mach,
Right.
I know you got a lot to say there too. But go ahead, Tyler.
Like the match against LA Knight, like from the Saudi show. Like I'm supposed to believe that like this guy's the GOAT, but like he's got to resort to shenanigans to beat LA Knight.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
It's just kind of don't buy it at this point. Like, and
I
that's
get
just
it. But like they're trying to present them as like a major heel, right? And he's doing
yeah.
major heel things, and his whole heel shtick is, "Hey, I'm the GOAT, I'm the best, I'm the greatest of all time." But somebody's always got to kind of help me out to fucking win. So people look at him and they're like, "You're not fucking great, you're not this," but he's still getting the wins, and he's still doing it, and he's still getting by. I do
Mm.
agree though, in the sense that I think we need to get more cleaner wins out of Roman, because Flair would cheat, right? But Flair would also have these clean wins over people. You know what I'm saying? He would do this stuff. And I think if we had more of the clean wins and a little less of the fucking constant cheating and cheat, but cheat for like an upper echelon guy. Cheat for a guy that you're gonna put in the title picture years later. You're gonna put the title on at some point. Somebody like that. But to cheat for like every fucking guy, I feel like it kind of loses its luster. Mach, you're ready. You're ready. I see you. You're chomping at the bit. So go ahead, please.
All right.
Free your mind.
So first off, I just want to say, based off the fact that Becky Lynch has been saying to Nia how she keeps hurting all the girls in the back and they're using it on television, right? It just made me believe that that's the discourse around Roman Reigns. He can't win on his own. He needs Solo in his stupid black hoodie. That's what he needs. Like, to come out of the crowd. Like, that's what he needs. So I feel like Triple H sometimes is a troll, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna do this like for the next year. Like, I'm just gonna have him win this way.
That's fair.
So that's kind of like the way I feel about it. I guess if I could play devil's advocate just and have a complaint about it, the reason that I don't think it works for his character is because doing it this way, it makes it seem like every single person he wrestles can beat him.
Yeah.
And that takes away his strength. So it's like you have to cheat to beat Matt Riddle. So you're telling me Matt Riddle could beat you straight up one-on-one? You have to cheat to beat Kevin Owens, so Kevin Owens could beat you straight up one-on-one.
In hindsight, they had bigger plans for Matt Riddle. Unfortunately, things happened with Matt Riddle, and
which
he didn't stick around. You know what I'm saying? So that's
he did in his most recent interview. He did take full accountability. They asked him if they tried to get him help, and he said they tried to get me help. I just couldn't change. I can't change. So he expected the release to happen months before it actually happened. So they gave him a couple more months to help him out. So good for him for taking accountability. That's the first step in moving in the right direction, you know.
Yeah. But getting back to what you were saying,
yeah, like getting back to that. That's my point. Like, I don't mean to disparage Matt Riddle or Kevin Owens or anything like that, but these are the guys that Roman has needed help to beat. So that's the point. That's like the thing that messes me up is as probably being the biggest Roman fan on here. I'd have to say, like, that's the thing that annoys me. It's like you need Solo to come out to beat every single time, like to beat somebody every single time. And what you said is true. Like every heel is put in a position, which is I'm curious why this storyline's not here. Every heel is put in a position like any outside interference, you will be stripped of the title. And that's when the heel wins clean. It's like, all right, like, okay, so like obviously somebody's gonna come out and help you. And then all of a sudden the heel wins clean and it pisses off fans more. You know what I mean? That's what's missing from Roman. That's what's missing from him.
I'd like to see it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've enjoyed the entirety of what he's done so far. I think it's great. It's great shit, man. And
it's just such good shit.
That phrase, there it is again. But you know, I just think that there's little things that perhaps they could tweak to kind of get the interest level back up to some extent from certain fans. But
agreed.
More on that as it develops. Moving along, we had Logan Paul defending the United States Championship against Kevin Owens. I like the match. I thought it was good. The gear change I thought was cool for Logan. I thought they did as good as they could do. I don't know. The crowd was kind of weird for this one. But overall, I thought they accomplished exactly what they needed to do, and I really dug the finish. I really
Agreed.
dug the finish.
That was my favorite part of the match.
I thought that was fantastic the way they did it because you keep Kevin strong, right? You can move forward. You can revisit that either at Elimination Chamber or WrestleMania. You could do something there. Although he's rumored to be working LA Knight for the title, Logan Paul, but you could revisit that at some point.
And away from LA Knight.
and you know, you kept Logan Paul's heel heat going. What did you guys think of this one?
I love the finish. I thought the finish was great. I think Kevin just continues to impress me. Logan is, I mean, I feel like what John Cena said about him could be true. He could be the next Roman Reigns if he stuck to this as his full-time career. Like if he just decided to turn off the podcast and just become a full-fledged professional wrestler, be at live events, be at, you know, Raw every week, that he could be amazing. So I appreciated what they did. Love the finish. Loved it. Yeah. Tyler loved it too, obviously.
I'm just such a fucking mark. I hated it.
Really?
I just wanted Kevin to win. I'm such a Kevin Owens mark.
That's fair.
Yeah. It's he's just one of my dudes. So other than that, I mean, I thought it was a good match. I think both these guys are tremendous in the ring. Logan Paul's just such a great athlete. And I mean, obviously he's protected, but like what they've done with him has worked.
Yeah.
This era of celebrity wrestler, they've found a way to make it work with him, with Bunny, with Stephen Amell. This ain't Snooki anymore. Like, you know.
Yeah. Or Kevin Federline.
Or Kevin Federline. As you said, it's some good shit.
Yeah, I think Logan Paul, man, like I watch him every time, and I really like focus on what he does, his technique, the little things. The dude is just like such a natural. It's really incredible. And I remember years ago when I first saw him and his brother and what they were trying to do with boxing. I was completely turned off to it. I'll be honest, as a lifelong boxing fan and a Puerto Rican. I was very turned off by that shit. I was like, man, who do these motherfuckers think they are, cutting the fucking line and all this shit while these guys are toiling in the gyms and all this stuff and blah blah blah. But then, you know, I saw what they were doing over time, and I gotta say I had to give them credit, you know, because these guys were also drawing attention to the sport of boxing, but they were also bringing in a different demographic of fan that probably wouldn't even watch boxing, you know, the YouTube crowd and all this other stuff. And to some extent, yeah, the Disney crowd, to some extent, I gotta say that they've had a positive impact on boxing and the combat sports business.
Jake has absolutely.
Jake has, Logan has too, but I think the biggest thing that the both of them have excelled in is being great promoters of themselves. And I think there's an air of legitimacy to Logan Paul. The guy went how many rounds with Floyd Mayweather, even though Floyd fucking knocked him out and held him up. We all saw that shit. There's an air of legitimacy to him, but he's bringing this entirely different audience with him. And not only that, like he's just able to just be a natural heat magnet. I had always said, because I didn't really think much of either one of them as boxers, but I had always said that if these dudes didn't do the combat sports thing, they'd be great in wrestling. And let me tell you, man, don't be surprised if Jake Paul gets involved in wrestling at some point and we see the Paul brothers as tag team champions. Do not be surprised by that. You heard it here first on Working the Marks, folks.
I can see Kevin and Sammy versus the Paul brothers.
Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about that on our show Saturday, where it was like we thought that Jake would get involved, and then that would set up Mania.
Nice.
Stop trying to kiss the screen, Tyler. You're coming in so close. Fuck, you trying to kiss us or something?
No, my beard looks really good tonight, and I just like to be able to see it. You know.
Nice.
Wow, you're so vain.
It's not Alex
Smith beard. About you. Yeah.
It's not an Alex Smith beard, but it's all right.
Fucking weird, yeah.
But yeah, I think he's just tremendous, man. I again, just the way this guy's been able to adapt, the way he's been able to just get in there and mix it up. I mean, Kevin Owens ain't no fucking schmo. Kevin Owens is one of the best wrestlers of this modern generation, bar none. I was not always a fan, admittedly. I loved his indie stuff. I loved his Ring of Honor stuff. I felt like when he got to WWE, he kind of became a little malcontent there, and he wasn't really giving everything the best that he could. But I think once he changed his mentality on it, which he had spoken about, he really started to excel, and he started to do the best stuff that he could do. And the stuff he did with Sammy last year was amazing, man. Just that whole run, the character work, everything about him. As a worker, he's going to get in there. He's going to give it a great go. He's going to put in a shift. And, the guy could talk. He could talk. He could talk shit with anybody. He could talk about anything, So, yeah, man, I liked it. I thought the finish was good. I think it's good in a sense based on Tyler's reaction that it's building up that anticipation for that payoff at some point for Kevin. I know Kevin, and look, hear me out. I know, we're missing the LA Knight fan here on the show, the major LA Knight fan. But I'm not feeling LA Knight against Logan Paul at WrestleMania. I would like to see Kevin in it. If you're going to do LA Knight, maybe put him in a triple threat, but I feel like Kevin deserves something and Sammy definitely deserves something.
So before we move off topic, I think it needs to be said Logan Paul has been able to be successful because he has not been put in a position to be in the ring with a subpar talent. He has always been in the ring with exceptional talent. If you put him in there against LA Knight at WrestleMania, that's the grandest stage. You're putting him in there with somebody who's not as good as Ricochet, who's not as good as Kevin Owens, like you're who's not as good as Roman. Like these guys are all great talent, and then there's LA Knight. You know what I mean? Like he might not. It just might not turn out good. You know what I mean? It's like watching Bastion Booger versus Hogan. Like it could turn into a really bad match.
Ooh.
So. Yeah.
I think that's fair. But I think that in the short amount of time that Logan's been there, he's been at. I mean, obviously, you see he's at the PC quite often, right? When CM Punk was getting ready for the Royal Rumble, which again more on that. CM Punk was getting ready. Logan Paul was there. He was pictured there. He was training there. He seems like he goes there quite a lot. He seems like he's getting the hang of it, and he's putting in the reps that he needs to put in. I don't doubt the Performance Center, and I don't doubt the fact that this guy could possibly get in there with LA Knight and have a great fucking match. And I also see what you're saying in regards to upper echelon talent that he's been in there with and stuff, but I definitely think he could hold his own, and I'd like to see him in that scenario. I think that would be really, really interesting. He just reminds me of Art Barr, man. He just reminds me of Art Barr. I don't know if it's the dirty mullet or what it is. He's got that Art Barr.
He does the frog splash too. He does
the frog
splash. Yeah,
but he's got a real Art Barr thing to him. Moving on, we had the Royal Rumble match. So it was good, right? Like it was
fine.
It was good. It was fine. No surprises, right? Nothing really too interesting. Sammy, what, at 30, but that's not really a surprise. People thinking The Rock's coming in. Punk came in at 27. Truth was funny in the match. Truth waiting for the tag for Dominic. That was probably the highlight. And then Dominic giving him the tag, that I thought was phenomenal. That was great. That was probably the highlight for me personally. As we found out later on, CM Punk was injured, tore his tricep again. Rough 2.5 years for the old punker there, man. You look, whether you love him, whether you hate him, whatever you feel about him, you got to feel for the guy. In the sense that he's really had a lot of injuries since he's come back to wrestling. I think he's still producing a lot of high quality stuff. He has unique abilities that I don't think many people on that roster really have, especially on the microphone. And hopefully he takes his time, he comes back healthy, and he gets that run that he deserves. But the finish I thought was good for the most part. I thought Punk's work in the match was good. There was a lot of selling on his part. Perhaps some of it had to do with the fact that he was injured as well. Cody came in. Cody was great. And I really liked, Cody eliminating Gunther again. I thought that was cool. And also real unique way to eliminate him too, with kind of like a headlock takeover over the top rope. I thought that was really cool. Not seeing your conventional old fucking toss outs, from the ring.
Mm-hmm.
No Kofi magic, man. No Kofi magic.
I missed that. I thought that was bad.
Do you think that Cody learned the headlock takeover from his buddy MJF? I know he likes to use that as a finish.
No, nobody learns anything from that fucking idiot. No, what I really missed was the Kofi Kingston. Like, there's this thing in professional wrestling where it's like oversaturation with stuff, right? And I think Kofi's Royal Rumble moment can't be oversaturated because it's a once a year thing. And I
Right.
really genuinely missed it this year. It was something that I looked forward to, and I was like, really? He's
Yeah.
gone? Like, my special moment was Braun Breaker eliminating Finn Balor. That was my favorite moment of the whole match.
He was phenomenal, man. He looked
Asshole.
great. He looked great. I loved him and Omos getting into it too. I thought that was
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
There's a lot of rumors in regards to Brock Lesnar, by the way, and I'm here to clarify those rumors about
Yeah,
Brock
do it.
Lesnar, Braun
Do
Breaker,
it.
Royal Rumble. So Billy Bhatti reported that Brock Lesnar was never scheduled to be at the Royal Rumble. He was not. He was never going to be there. So that spot was Braun Breaker's. Braun Breaker did not fill in the Brock Lesnar role or whatever people are saying out there. That's not what he was doing. He was Braun Breaker in the Royal Rumble. He did a phenomenal job. And man, I gotta say it. Look, I love the Steiner brothers. I think we all do. My guy Mach here, one of the biggest Steiner brothers I know outside of my boy James Anthony. And they were phenomenal for what they did. They were very innovative, very explosive, believable, fucking believable. You could really look at these guys and buy it. But not the best in-ring workers in terms of safety. And there were a lot of reckless moments with both of them. There were times where Scott, and it's been talked about in Ric Flair's book. It's been talked about by a lot of other talents too that have worked against him, where he would take liberties with talent. And you look at Braun Breaker and you look at that sample size of him in the Royal Rumble and what he was able to accomplish and the fluidity and the movement and everything and just the touch when he would lay those bumps, those big bumps, and he's hitting these and he's coming in full bore, but he's hitting these nice fucking touch bumps, man. And he's not hurting anybody. And I gotta say that I think this kid has potential to really supersede them. I think to some extent he's a lot better than they were already. And I think that he's going to be just something really, really, really special as long as he keeps himself out of trouble and stays healthy. I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be great, and he's going to fill that Brock Lesnar void. He's going to fill that Goldberg void. He's going to fill that big spot of that super believable killer. And I'm curious to see his evolution for sure. Mach, I know you got some thoughts on this as well.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it yesterday. Sometimes in professional wrestling, parallels being drawn are one of the best things, like being able to say, like, oh, this person reminds me of that person. We've seen it with classic wrestlers, but like back when like Benoit was around, it was like, oh, that's Dynamite Kid, but that's a new version. Like we talked about, the perfect comparison to Braun Breaker is Kurt Angle. He is very much like Kurt Angle. He's a safe in-ring performer. He doesn't take liberties. He makes the other guys look good. He sells for people. He sells for people that genuinely doesn't look like he should, like making Tommaso Ciampa look like he can actually win a match. Giving heat to Finn Balor when the guy's like 2 foot tall. Like there are certain things. Sorry. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure, like, if MJF came into WWE, which is the rumor, and he wrestled a guy like Braun Breaker, he would sell being bitten on the ankle. It would be like, oh my God, like just this, like, Enanito just coming out here. Like, it's whatever. But he looked really believable in the ring. And everything he did, think about like what he did in the ring. So he eliminates Finn, had to say it again, just wanted to say it again. He eliminates Omos, right? And it's like, whoa. And then how great did it look? Like he gets eliminated by Dominic. You know what I mean? Like it's like, wow, this is the guy. Like, all right, so he can do this. He can look like he looks at, and I think it's one of those guys that Sean doesn't want to lose. Like he even said today, he's like, he's got a lot more to do in NXT. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, do you blame him though? Do you blame him?
No.
I think maybe he's not fully there yet too. That's the other thing too we have to consider, because
that's what's
he's
so
still
dangerous about him.
But bro, he's so explosive, he's so believable, and it's so clean, it's so crisp, it looks so good. But I think he's gonna be fine. I would love, and I know some people might not like this, but I'd love to see Okada end up in NXT and those two have a match. match.
Breaking news.
That would be amazing. What?
If I could just break some news, Pro Wrestling Tees has been told to pull all Okada merch from their website.
By who?
I have no
one would
idea.
assume WWE maybe.
Yeah, I mean, if
they
he's going to AEW, he would need the Pro Wrestling Tees store.
Ooh, man.
So that would be interesting. That would be great to watch Okada go in there and for him to work Braun, and Braun puts him over on his way out. That'd be great.
I really think it's the right move. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, he can. There's so many good jobbers he can work with too. Like he can work with the guys like
I'm
DIY.
gonna slap.
You know what I mean?
Why are you such an asshole tonight?
Somebody has to be the fucking heat magnet because Uribe's not here. So
listen,
he's taking the spot tonight.
He just kind of.
I thought you loved. Like, I thought Johnny Gargano was like your long lost brother.
I love Johnny Gargano. I love him. I think.
He's in DIY.
He's the smallest wrestler I think I've ever liked in my entire life. Like,
you got like a size thing lately. I don't get it.
Bullshit.
No, I love Crash
Max
Holly.
Mini.
I love
Crash
Holly.
You love Max
and
Mini.
Torito. I love it Torito too. No. I love most of these wrestlers. I'm not a fan of him, or I don't dislike Tommaso Ciampa. I guess he just doesn't really do it for me. Like he's, you know what I mean? Like,
but I like the tag team though. I like him and Gargano together.
I think they're a good tag team. I think you just know that I love Ciampa, so you're just being a dick.
No. I just you've never said that to me.
Really?
Yeah, you've never. I thought your dude was Kyle O'Reilly. I thought Kyle O'Reilly was.
I love Kyle too. Yeah.
Yeah, like
all
you
those
talk
guys
about Kyle O'Reilly the way you talk about Jared Goff's looks. Like,
yeah, well, I mean,
oof. You're more of an Alex Smith guy, Much. That's why.
Yeah, I love Alex Smith. Alex Smith is amazing. He's great. I mean, he's Alex Smith he's a good looking dude. He's no Tim Tebow, but he's a good looking dude. You know what I mean? So it's fine.
Neither one of them are any Jimmy Garoppolo, so you know.
Oh, Jimmy's a handsome man.
That's Patty's guy. That's Patty's guy.
He's a handsome man. He's a handsome man.
No? Patty, what's the name of your cat?
Sparkles Lorraine Garoppolo, but that name does not exist anymore. She just goes by Winks. She's going through her Prince phase, so that's it. She took up smoking again. She's actually asleep over here on the side, but getting back to Okada, man. Like the thing about Okada that's so great is like his style is so simple. You know. It's so simple, and that type of stuff I think is just going to translate so well to WWE. I think his English, from what I've heard so far, is good, and not only that, man, but just Triple H, I think, just understands how to present him. He just understands how to present him. Sean's going to know what to do with him. I think him being able to work with Shawn Michaels is just going to be so fucking great for him, and Sean, I think, is going to just help him transition so easily to like working in America, man. I'm fucking excited. If it happens, and when it happens, I'm gonna be incredibly excited, man, because he's so
go
good.
To NXT, and he gets to work with the two guys that train Bryan Danielson.
Yeah,
because a lot of people forget that Regal and Michaels are both at the Performance Center.
Bro, not only that, you got Norman Smiley there.
Norman Smiley, Steve Carino. You have A-Train for like the big guys. Like there are some exceptional coaches there,
and they have guest trainers all the time. Coaches. They have people coming in from all different places.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's unbelievable. Okada, he has potential for me. And Nakamura, I think, in fairness to him, has been a big star over here, man. I know some people might not think he's been as big as he could be, but you look at the things that he's accomplished, having a WrestleMania main event. I mean, he's done such a great job. The titles that he's won, winning the Royal Rumble, the opportunities he's been given. I mean, his presentation alone, I think, has just been really great for a Japanese wrestler. You could say him and Kana are probably the two best that have come here, that have been able to get over as much. But I just think with Okada,
recently, yes.
Recently, yes. I mean, I don't know if I could even say
Hakushi was good. Tajiri was good.
Tajiri was good, yeah. Muda
They
and
were-
stuff like that. But this is different. I think like in terms of like being presented to a more global audience, I think these guys have really done great. And it's been so long since you've seen like a Japanese talent come over here and stay here, like that.
Right.
So, for them to be here and for them to do what they did, I think that bodes well for Okada. And I just think that Okada, his style, his style is the biggest thing for me, because this dude's going to be able to do the house show loops. He's going to be able to work his simple style at house shows and not kill himself and not fucking hurt his body, but still be able to get in there and just have these fucking bangers with anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the guy's just got it in him. So that to me is really, really great.
Well, I mean, he doesn't. Another thing that I think is very interesting about Okada that I've noticed, I've tried to go back and been watching a lot of Okada matches. He doesn't take unnecessary bumps either. Like when he works someone, he does take good bumps. Like he'll take like a tiger suplex or something like that. I'm not saying he's not taking moves like that, but they all make sense for the match. He's not just taking the move. Like if he went to, AEW, he's going to be laying on the ground while Sammy Guevara goes up to the Statue of Liberty and jumps off on a regular Saturday night when they only have 250 people watching. Like that's what's going to happen. Yeah. But if he goes to WWE and he follows like a regimen, you know what I mean? Like we've seen wrestlers go to a place like AEW and just not be successful.
Well, like, he has that in him. He has that in him, in fairness. And if you've watched a good chunk of his work, which I've watched a lot of Okada, man. Like not even just his matches with Kenny, which to me are still some of the best wrestling matches I think we've had in the 21st century. I've watched like Okada work just about everybody in New Japan, and the guy is just so good, man. Like he's just so good. And when you watch it, it's just such a simple style. Like he's not really doing a whole hell of a lot. And again, I just think that the English and everything else, I think it's going to be really, really well for him. And when he works, to your point, when you were talking about the bumps and stuff like that, he takes big bumps, but he takes big bumps when they matter and when they mean something. He really does. He's not going to take a big bump just for no fucking reason. When he does something, it's because it's impactful and it's meaningful to the match. He works incredibly smart. So I'm super fucking excited to see it when it happens. But getting back to the Royal Rumble here, basically the rundown here, I know we've done the news and stuff like that. I don't know what we're going here. What are we winging it with as a main topic here tonight? Because we're working
your news, your Billy Body news, your Mania matches.
Okay, so I'm just gonna wrap up the Royal Rumble here, and we'll get to the news.
Yeah, can I say something real quick about the Rumble?
Sure, go ahead. Sure.
So the thing that I felt hurt it a little bit is until Cody came in at 15, I don't think there was a person you would honestly believe could win in the match. So it had a hard time getting going.
What number did Braun Breaker come in?
He wasn't winning.
Later on. He came in later on, though, didn't he?
He could have won. He eliminated Finn Balor.
You mentioned that.
God. Wow. Damn.
I get a fucking t-shirt. No, you don't understand, Pat. I need to add context to this. I'm sorry. I know we got to go. I know we got to wrap up soon. But no, Tyler, like, he berated Braun Breaker for like an entire summer, and I've been defending this man, and he's been talking. So we've actually talked about these two specific wrestlers, and to watch my guy eliminate his guy, it's just been so fun. So I'm gonna have to make it a GIF and send it to
It's Tyler. Almost like there's a script or something.
It's almost like the wrestling gods decided to fuck with Tyler to give me ammunition for you for a very long time.
Hey man, I was calling for a Braun and a Gunther fucking match, and we got a Braun and Gunther showdown. That was pretty cool too.
The last man to pin Gunther.
Yeah, little known fact there too as well. But
I
you
actually
know,
didn't know that. Yeah.
speaking of Gunter, the guy who ended up winning this Royal Rumble was the guy that eliminated him the last 2 years, and that is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And I gotta tell you, that one kind of pow drove me for a second there. I was like, I don't know what
Yeah.
to make of it. I don't know what to think of it. I was going in there thinking CM Punk's gonna win,
Mhm.
but Cody ends up winning, and Cody looks like he's gonna finish the story. He pointed at Roman Reigns and everything. Um, you got to think that it's going to be him and Roman Reigns now. And based on, and this is, I guess, my main topic. I'm segueing into said main topic right now. Based on that, from what we heard from Billy Bhatti, it's looking like The Rock and Roman Reigns is going to be off the table for this WrestleMania, given the Vince McMahon stuff that's come out and Rock not wanting to be associated with the company right now while that's going on. So it seems like he's backing out, and it seems like Cody is going to be stepping up into the position to apparently finish the story this year. This is what's being reported as well. Aside from the Brock Lesnar stuff that I talked about before, and now we haven't seen too much about what's going on with the CM Punk stuff, but you got to think that based on last night, and man, let me tell you, what a great opening segment last night with CM
Yes.
Punk and Drew McIntyre. I mean, I know you guys had talked about it on your show as well. Macho told me. I thought it was great, and I thought it did a great job in really cementing Drew as a hardcore heel, man, and just really adding that extra
Wow.
bit of emotion that I think he needed going into maybe a potential match with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. But yeah, it's like I was saying before with the undisputed title match, it's looking like it's not going to happen this year with Rock and Roman, and I
Which will
can
make
I
a
can
lot of
see it.
fans happy, I guess.
Yeah, but I also think that I think that this is kind of the similar scenario from last year where Rock just didn't want to be involved because of this kind of stuff, and coincidentally, this is the stuff that's sprouting up now, and you're putting Rocky in this position where he's going to be working with WWE again. I just think he doesn't want to be involved. He doesn't want to answer, and I think they're all trying to get over it because, and especially the guys that have been there during the Attitude Era, Triple H doesn't want to fucking go over and revisit this shit anymore.
Mhm.
Again, we don't know what these guys have seen. We don't know what these guys know. They're never going to tell, they're never going to tell unless something happens. They have to tell, but they're never going to tell about this stuff. And, I can understand Rocky not wanting to do it and not wanting to put himself in that position, especially because he hasn't been doing too good at the box office as well. And, this
The
could
Oprah
kind
thing
of,
hurts him too.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. This could all kill his fucking image a little bit. So I could see why he doesn't want to be involved. But more importantly for me, I think this is a better plan than waiting the year and finishing the story with Cody. Then I think you got to capitalize with this now. Cody, man, was fantastic in the media and in the press conference afterwards. The post Royal Rumble press conference. I thought he was amazing. Everything he said, the delivery, saying that he's the guy, he's the man. I mean, what a
He's always
statement.
yeah.
What a statement. And if there's anybody that's going to beat Roman, if there's anybody where the believability is going to be high, and where what we've talked about, and where Tyler and I have kind of expressed our dislike, I think we're gonna get that with Cody and with Roman, and I think it has potential to be something really really special this go around. So crazy to see how circumstances have affected these about a week ago set in stone WrestleMania main events.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll let Tyler talk more about that because this is like what he's wanted all along.
I mean,
Don't cry.
yeah,
Don't cry on this.
it is. I mm, I'm trying really hard not to. I don't know. I guess like the one thing is with Rock, kind of take it personally, I guess. Like, you wanted to do this until it was inconvenient. So if that's the case, just stay in Hollywood. That's my opinion. Because he only wants to be involved when it's convenient for him. The man already has more money than God. It's not like it's going to hurt him in any way to do it. So
well, that's not even fair. He was the last pick in the draft. He hasn't made any money yet.
I wasn't talking about Brock Purdy.
Well, you said God, so I was just go ahead.
Said he has more money than God. Oh, I get it.
Oh, that one hit me late. That one hit me late. I'm sorry. It's,
I get it.
Hit me late. That one.
So that's. I mean, and maybe I'm sometimes I guess I'm guilty of being a mark, but it just, to me, like I said, he wanted to do it until it wasn't convenient. That being said, I really do hope Cody if that's what they're gonna do, he better finish the story, because otherwise I'm gonna be one of them people on the internet making them videos, canceling my Peacock subscription. I don't know. Seth almost talked me into the opposite last night. That was such a good promo.
Phenomenal, right? I thought his delivery was so great, his believability, everything that he did, his words. I mean, both guys are great. And Cody, man, Cody's just so good. His selling, his facials, the way he makes you believe and feel things. There were some fucking great promos last night. Man.
Yeah,
there really were.
They were exceptional promos
between Punk, Cody, Seth. I mean, Drew. I thought, man, Becky too. I mean, they were all great, man. Everybody delivered, man.
So the only one thing I did think about last night is if they would give us the Bailey from Saturday night in the press conference over this Karen type character that she is, that would sell some windbreakers.
Listen,
that would sell like the one I got on.
Turn her face.
Listen, I want to point this out.
Fernando.
I don't want this to go unnoticed. Did anybody catch the subtle hint with Bailey going face at the Rumble?
Yes. I caught that. I also
did you catch it, Tyler?
Are we talking about during the match or in the press conference?
During the match, she does something specific, and I felt like it was telling us, like it was a tea leaf. After she has an elimination, she's hanging on the middle rope, and she does a classic Bailey thing and fixes her thing. And I felt like it was like telling the fans, like, oh shit, the side pony's coming back. Because the hair is long again, and I was like, "Ooh, yeah," because I've always wanted to hold that side pony from behind. But I understand it, like, you know what I mean, like, Just
I'm curious to see if that happens. I don't know if they're gonna go there with her, but you got to think that like they're building up the betrayal, and especially since she says she's making her decision this Friday, so you got to think they're gonna get there pretty soon. I would expect if Okada's gonna debut, you'd got to think it's going to be at that next NXT show, the one that's coming up, right? Because he's free of his commitments to New Japan. So, based on guess what happens with Trick and with Ilya, which I'd love to see him in Ilya. I think that's
my god,
that's a dope match right there. I'm into that shit.
Yeah, Ilya Dragunov is one of the best.
I might need a private moment on that one.
That would be great.
Yeah,
just two other guys that are better than Balor. Just amazing guys. Like,
oh man. Well, fellas, I think on that note, we're gonna cut it tonight.
Perfect.
Anything you guys want to plug here before I do the call and we call it an evening here?
Well, we have our Must Love Wrestling podcast every Saturday. We try to do it around anywhere from 10 to 12, depending on when schedules or a little Rodriguez gets down for nap. But we do that. We'll be talking about we'll obviously be talking about Raw, SmackDown, and leading into WrestleMania. So, come watch us, but that's pretty
but
much
not this
all we
week
got.
because we won't be there. You'll be by yourself.
Oh, that's right. Tyler is. That's right. You're going overseas. That's right. You're going to Ireland?
Like a little weekend. Yeah, I'm gonna go visit Finn's parents. No, I'm taking a little weekend, John, to the Bahamas. Yeah, I'm gonna go see old Fergal.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Weekend, John, to the
Bahamas. That's right.
Just gonna spend Sunday in the Bahamas and then come back.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, enjoy yourself. That sounds exciting.
That's pretty.
It'll be nice.
That's pretty rocking. Yeah, that's a pretty sweet deal. Well, fellas, appreciate you being on tonight here. At least 3 of us showed up. Hopefully, we get the other 2 to come back next week. And big shout out, by the way, to the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers. Bang, bang, Niner gang. We're going to the Super Bowl to take on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Kind of feel like Brock's like Cody Rhodes. He won the Royal Rumble and he's going to WrestleMania to take on the Tribal Chiefs. And we'll see what happens. Maybe young Broccoli Purdy finishes the story.
The Chiefs are the Roman Reigns. The Chiefs are the Roman Reigns of the NFL. So
the Niners really were undefeated this weekend. Bailey's a Niner fan. Roman's a Niner fan. They both won their matches. And then the Niners won. So it's pretty exciting. Although the Usos are both Niner fans too, and they didn't win.
But that was a stalemate, because whatever. Neither guy really won, so that was okay.
Yeah, we won't talk about the text I got like halfway through the second quarter about putting Darnold in and getting blown out 2 years in a row in the championship game.
Those? Oh yeah, no, the what is it? The emotional cutter texts. Those are rough.
The week before when they beat us, I didn't even want to congratulate him because I was just like, you don't deserve to win. You gave up. You tapped out.
Oh man.
Oh, that's right. We forgot. We got High Cheese over here. He's a Packers fan.
Oh man.
Tapped out.
Well, young Broccoli, man, he showed up, he did the thing, but big shout out to the
we gotta get t-shirts.
Appreciate that.
I love it, Broccoli, young Broccoli. I love it.
Young Broccoli, bro, that's his rap name. But
I did see Ashley says she's gonna make me a shirt that says "Talk Purdy to me."
Talk Purdy to me. I like that. I love Brock. He's great, man. But big shout out to the Niners. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Hopefully we go to the Super Bowl and bring back ring number 6 for the franchise. But other than that, folks, we appreciate you joining us tonight. And we look forward to bringing you another episode of Working the Marks. He's Tyler Taylor. He's Macho Rodriguez. I'm Patty Rican. And every week on this Mother Lover, we are Working the Marks. See ya, Chico.
See you next week.
See you guys. Braun eliminated Finn.
Famcast Media.